All right, let's dive into one of the most mysterious and, honestly, most powerful parts of being human, our intuition. In this explainer, we're going to decode that gut feeling. We'll look at the actual science behind it, take a little tour of the brain hardware that powers the whole thing, and then explore why this universal ability is seen so differently all over the world. And by the end, you'll see how to reframe intuition as your brain's secret superpower.
I mean, come on, of course you have, right? That sudden hunch, that little flash of insight that just pops into your head from like nowhere, telling you to make a certain choice or maybe trust a particular person. It's a feeling we all know, but what is it really?
Well, it's not magic, it's actually science. What we call intuition is really a form of what's known as superior pattern processing. Think about it this way. Your brain is this world-class prediction engine, and intuition is just that engine running at super high speed, picking up on these tiny patterns that your conscious mind completely misses. So, how does it actually do that? In this first section, we're going to pull back the curtain and see exactly how your subconscious mind is constantly, and pretty brilliantly, I might add, connecting the dots behind the scenes. The engine behind all this is something called implicit learning. This is your brain's incredible ability to learn really complex rules and just soak up massive amounts of information without you even being aware that you're learning. You know, it's kind of like learning to ride a bike. You can't really explain the physics of how you stay balanced, you just know. So, how does this all turn into a hunch? Well, first, your brain is building this enormous subconscious database of literally everything you've ever seen, heard, or felt. Then, when a new situation comes along, it does this lightning-fast pattern match against that entire database. And if it finds a really high confidence match, bam, that's your intuitive hit. It's like a compressed, nonverbal summary of a super complex calculation.
This chess analogy is the perfect example. A grandmaster has implicitly learned thousands, maybe millions, of board patterns. They don't sit there consciously calculating every single possible move. Their brain just recognizes the pattern and immediately knows the best response. That's not some kind of magic. It's highly trained, superior pattern processing. And your brain is doing that same thing, but with social cues, emotional data, and all sorts of other information.
Okay, so we know what it is. Now let's see where it happens. We're going to go on a quick tour of the actual brain hardware that makes up your own personal intuition engine. First up, we have the basal ganglia. This is a really crucial area deep inside the brain. The best way to think about it is like it's the librarian of your subconscious. It stores all the implicit rules and habits you've learned over your entire life. This is where the core patterns of your intuition are all filed away. Next is the ventromedial prefrontal cortex, or just the VMPFC. Now, if the basal ganglia is the library, the VMPFC is the translator. It takes that raw, subconscious pattern match from the library and actually turns it into a conscious feeling. You know, that gut sense or that emotional pull that you can notice and actually act on. And finally, we've got the hippocampus. This part of the brain is basically a pattern sorter. It plays this really key role in helping your intuition figure out if a situation is genuinely new or if it just seems new but actually matches a pattern you've seen before. So let's put it all together. You've got this amazing little team working for you. The basal ganglia stores the rules, the hippocampus sorts all the patterns, and the VMPFC delivers the final message as a feeling. It's this beautiful, super efficient system. But hold on, this brings up a really fascinating question. If we all have this same biological hardware, why is the experience of intuition so wildly different around the world? Why do some people seem to feel it so much more strongly than others? Well, it turns out the answer isn't in our biology, but in our stories. The raw signal from your brain might be universal, but the meaning we give it, the label we stick on that experience, is almost entirely shaped by our culture. Let's dig into that. So we're basically looking at the exact same internal signal, but they're two completely different lenses. On one side, you have the modern Western view, which, well, it often pathologizes really intense experiences. And on the other side, you've got an ancestral framework, which often sees those exact same things as a gift. And this table just lays it all out. It's kind of mind-blowing. The experience of intense sensory overload, it might get labeled as anxiety in a Western clinic, but in an indigenous culture, it could be seen as a shamanic initiation. Having an incredible ability to see where things are headed based on current data, that could be called a delusion in one context, but prophecy in another. The experience is exactly the same, only the label changes. And what this all points to is this really powerful idea of cognitive reframing. It lets us shift the whole story from, oh no, there's something wrong with me, to, okay, I am having a sensory experience that my culture just doesn't really have a good framework for. It's not a personal failing, it's a cultural blind spot. And that brings us to our final and maybe most important section, reclaiming this ability. This is all about shifting our perspective from seeing intuition as some kind of personal flaw we need to fix to understanding it as a powerful cultural asset we need to cultivate. The ancestral perspective offers this incredible reframe. Your heightened sensitivity, your deep gut feelings, these aren't bugs in your system. They're features. They are highly valuable perceptual tools that just need to be understood and managed. And this is not some new idea, not at all. For most of human history, people who were highly intuitive, the ones who felt the world more deeply, they weren't pushed to the side. They were essential. They were the community's seers, their listeners, their healers. Their unique abilities served a vital function for everyone. So this really illustrates the modern role for an intuitive person. Their work today is to become that functional intermediary again. It's about learning how to take that complex nonverbal data that your intuition gives you and translate it into clear, actionable language that can actually help you and the people around you. So, we'll just end with this question. After understanding the science, the neurobiology, and the cultural context, the only real question left is the one you have to ask yourself. What is your intuition trying to tell you?